Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel's Strike Force. Now, today, what I'm going to be talking about is something that is a bit dated, something that I haven't actually talked to up until this point because I wanted to kind of digest and kind of think about it some more. Yeah, I know I didn't want to kind of do an off the cuff video. I actually want to do a deeper dive into this whole 4 or 5 Diamond Fiasco. And I also want to do an objective look back. As some of you guys might know, here on the Boilon channel, I've actually kind of gone, I typically track player-based numbers a lot, typically at various leaderboard points, and I want to pull some data from all the way back to December of last year, tracking to now, and how that has changed the player population. Why? Because I think this is kind of important when combined with the mood of the community, things that have happened over the past year, and how this might impact going forward with this announcement and how this might affect it in the future, especially going into 2026. Before we get to the rest of the video, though, there is something special that I really want to share with you guys. Hey everyone, so I just got this special news package from Plarium about something really massive upcoming in Raid Shadow Legends. The problem is that I can't quite share the details with you just yet, but trust me, this is going to be huge, like global IP craziness huge. They're going to be teaming up with a franchise that everybody knows and is going to absolutely love. There's going to be some exclusive champions, there's going to be some themed events, limited time rewards, and that you're not going to want to miss any of this. Not to mention that you're going to get a free legendary champion giveaway from this iconic franchise never before seen in Raid. All you have to do is download using my link. So if you want to figure out what's going on in Raid, then all you got to do is scan my QR code in the top right hand of the screen or use the link in the description down below and you'll get yourself some amazing free champions while you wait for this huge event. To start your journey off, you will get yourself Narma the Returned, our recently reworked legendary champion. Absolutely amazing, and you're going to get 3 other epic champions for free as well on your journey. You're going to get Ugo, Tagore, and my personal favorite, Deacon Armstrong, at accounts level 15, 30, and 40. And when you make that brand new account, you can also use this promo code Demon Slayer to get a free legendary Tholen Foulbeard absolutely free within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. Don't forget that this is a limited time crossover event, which I promise is going to be insane. So what are you waiting for? Download Raid and join me today. And I want to start here on the Diamonds blog. Now, I'm sure you've watched other content creators discuss this, so I'm going to gloss over this in only a few places where I think it's actually important that I want to talk about. And I want to start here with the stats, right? So we've taken a look at the stat jump that's going to be equivalent, or that's going to be a thing for 4 and 5 diamond, and that's going to be 175% and 225. So basically a 100% jump, stat jump from 3 diamond to 5 diamond. Now, what I think is really funny is because we never ended up getting a overpower rank 12, right? But this basically is double overpower, right? Overpower was like 50% extra damage, and now we're getting 100% more stats on all the characters. So it's like it didn't really matter, right? If we got overpower tier 12 or not, this is essentially doubling what, you know, it's making up for not having that additional tier in overpower. So this is basically overpower 2.0. That being said, I do believe that diamonds are well overdue. Like I was saying that we should have 5 diamonds like, I don't know, 6 months ago or more. But I guess I didn't think that the stat jump was going to be the Stark. I thought that maybe it'd be 25-25, not 50-50. So they kind of doubled my expectations in stats. And I want to be somewhat fair to big spenders here because there isn't really a lot of reasons why you need these stats. I really had to, sit down and think about it. It's like, well, how much does this really matter? How much does this matter to me? So for me, as someone who doesn't really take PvP all that seriously, I don't know how much I care. I got to be honest. But there is a lot of people that do care. I also want to point out that PvP in a mobile game is absolutely pay to win. So yes, this is a pay to win scenario that they're doing for all this, and the way that you're going to obtain 4 and 5 diamonds is absolutely pay gating. That being said, PvP, where this is going to matter, has always been in mobile games been about the wallet. Free to play players can, of course, do PvP, but they're never going to hit those upper levels without spending because there's usually there's mechanics or things that you need to buy in order to keep up, right? And I guess when that's not existing, that's a failure of the game to make money off of big spenders in PvP. There's tons of mobile games that are basically catering to big PvP, big krakens, right? Largely in the PvP arena. I think when it comes to PvE and spending, the communities tend to be a bit more collaborative in that sense, that it just that they don't it's not as divisive. It seems that spending and the free to play versus Kraken nature is very divisive in Marvel Strike Force in the community, and I guess that's because this game is like 90% PvP. Anyways, moving on a little bit here. How are you going to get that stuff? Well, premium events and leader. So I highlighted this together because it's basically the same thing. What is a premium event? So a premium event to me, what I think of is like those special showcases, but you can't actually access them unless you have the star ranks, right? Like you need a zombie kestrel at 5, 6, or 7 yellow in order to do those nodes. And on those nodes, there's going to be some diamonds for that character, or there's going to be these special 4 or 5 diamond orbs. I don't know, right? And that's what I think of as a premium event. Maybe Scopely can be more clear about that. And leaderboards, we know. And all of this is pay. It's pay stuff. Premium events, leaderboards, it's wallet spending, right? And engaging in challenging endgame content. Well, what does that mean? What is challenging endgame content to them? Because I don't actually think there is any challenging endgame content in Marvel Strike Force. I actually don't think that Battle World is challenging endgame content. I don't think that Danger Room, to some extent, is not challenging endgame content. So I don't know what their definition of this is. Perhaps that's like Dark Dimension 9 that we might get. Like, I'm not really sure where they draw the line here at this, because I actually don't believe there's any challenging endgame content in Marvel Strike Force. But that's just me in a PvE nature. I think this game is very easy. It's just full of a variety of different pay gates and super slow drips of a lot of different things. That's just my opinions of the game these days. During the initial release, Diamonds 4 and 5 for many characters, which they don't really clarify. I heard it was going to be like 30 or 50 characters, will only be available from premium events. So at least they're kind of basically clear that they're pay gating this stuff, or that it won't be available, essentially. And then most powerful in the game. So I don't know, maybe like the top 30 best characters in the game. I don't know if there was an exact list of how many. Diamond 4 and 5 will not be available in any shop for some time. So the only thing I like about this statement is that at least they're being clear that it's not going to be available. So don't hope for it, right? It's not going to be in the Elite Store, basically, they're saying. And I don't know what some time means for them, but I would wager that's at least 6 months, if not more, right? Now, there's going to be a couple of diamond orbs. There's this Radiant Diamond Orb, and I take issue. Also, I'm sure the Krakens take issues with this as well, with a chance to pull a 1 to 5 diamond on these characters. 50 of the latest characters they mention here. So it's a chance. What are the chances of a 4 and 5? I bet you it's like less than 10%. So hypothetically, I'm just pulling a number out. Let's say you're spending $25 per orb, like, and it's a 10% chance to get an upgrade, right? Because even for me, a 3 diamond, like I can get whatever 3 diamonds I want, with the exception of new characters. Like I can buy whatever in the Elite Store. I got tons of silver diamond credits to do this. So if it's just a small chance, like even less than 15% chance to get an upgrade, this is total cash baiting, and even I hope that even the whales and krakens recognize how garbage this is, really. They will be included in leaderboards and events, aka premium events, right? Again, things that you'll have to spend to make progress in. These days, it's very difficult, even for ardent hoarders like myself, to make progress in leaderboards. Like I can basically do one leaderboard maybe a month, right? Like I have to save all of my crap that I blew on the King of the Zone leaderboard there, and I'm basically out of course. So I won't be competing on this upcoming leaderboard. That's going to be I'm launching this video on a Monday, but I'm not recording on a Monday. But the clause of the past, like there's no way I'm going to be competing in this event because my cores are basically broke. Play the game to shine bright. Diamond orbs, right? So you can get these diamond orbs by playing them in challenging endgame content from many of your favorite game modes. There is no challenging endgame content in all of these game modes that they're talking about. Like what endgame, like endgame war, endgame crucible, danger room, battle world, blah. They make a couple of mentions, right? They actually do say danger room, diamond orb, battle world, diamond orb, but this is not challenging endgame content. Like we've already, with the exception of danger room, like we've already mastered battle world. Like we've done everything there is in battle world. So how are they going to monetize? Like how are they going to fit this in there? I don't even know where they're going to put it, frankly. Special holiday diamond orb, so some event, I guess, but like it's just, so there will be like a little drip drop of some stuff maybe for free to play, but most likely, while they say diamonds 4 and 5, it's probably going to be a diamonds 1 through 5, most likely with a small chance of 4 and 5. So we'll see, right? Or Beckos, they've been really doing that a lot these days. Basically, it's a mercy. So if you open enough of them, that you will get a guarantee to something. Duplicates doesn't really matter. Old Man Logan, I actually don't care about. This is not really a big deal in my opinion. He is a good character, but I'm not even that crazy in PvP. Others who are have told me it's okay, right? He's not that meta in Cosmic Crucible these days. There's a lot of ways to beat him. He's better on offense than he is on defense because you can't control who to attack, that kind of thing. And it's better to use him on offense. And even Mercs for Money is not necessarily the best war team anymore. So I don't know. I have no issue with them offering this for this next leaderboard that's going to be starting. The other thing that I want to talk about is this kind of this post here. New Diamond 4 and 5 will end free to play competitive. Now, the only thing I have problems with this title is I don't think there ever really was free to play competitiveness exactly. There was like free to play competitiveness versus each other. But at the end of the day, I do believe that with Overpower, that was the beginning of the end of this idea that free to play could compete with spenders. It's not supposed to happen. In most mobile games, free to play is not supposed to compete on the same level as spenders. There's usually a very big, easy divide between the two player bases. But anyways, so it was an interesting thread. I actually read through it. There's a lot here, honestly. The basic resources that should be plentiful in a game of this type are now harder to get. Gold orbs drying up, mega gold's gone, very little in events. So we know Big Positive Geek actually put out a really good video, and I think maybe Rage Gaming also may have done a video as well about gold and training modules in general, which has been declining dramatically over the last while, which you guys know is probably due to the fact that we have been losing out on showcases that have made some of these things available. There has been less resources in general in events as well regarding gold and training modules. So a lot of people just don't even have the resources to build up new teams these days, and that's always a big issue with freaking character releases. They do their best to make this unskippable. Demand for resources is at an all-time high, blah, 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 blah. They make it sound like these things are attainable free to play, but the reality is if you want anything more than scraps, you have to open up your wallet. So, they make it so that you can get a 3 yellow pretty easily, I suppose, but then you have to wait a couple of weeks. And if you're post Xavier, that you can use your currency in the chapter store to be able to buy these characters like I do. But they're making them available later, like 3 weeks. Who knows? They might move it to 4 weeks as well. Purple 5, that's the other thing, is that they stacked on 2 different progression systems now at the same time. We have Purple 4 and 5, and we have Diamonds 4 and 5. If you combine the stats from Purple 5 with Diamond 5, like, it's a lot of stats and damage and all that stuff. So it's pretty crazy that they're stacking 2 progression systems basically at the same time, because pretty much nobody has Purple 5, and I have like 2 characters with Purple 5 now. I have Franklin and Sue, and that's about it. Right? Basically telling you that 99% of your players don't matter, and maybe to your bottom line, they don't. Over 100,000 players have left the game over the past year. Now, this is interesting, and I almost think that the person Brister1999 who posted this, I wonder if they're a member of my Discord server, because we talked about maybe about 4 or 5 days ago specifically this 100,000 player number that I mentioned actually in the Discord, and that's why I also want to talk about the player base. I want to talk about the player populations and where that has gone basically since this time last year, pretty much. Without lots of free to play players, there is no community. Without a community, there are no content creators. And without them, there's no one to advertise your game and draw in new viewers. There is one talking about, there's no one talking about the new teams and how to play events. This is a vital part of the game's health. When a game becomes less visible, people stop caring. So it's not a winning strategy. So this likely will be the end for many players like myself who've been here for many years, blah, blah, blah. And so if this person ends up quitting, that sucks. Not surprising. Okay, so I want to talk about the player base and where this was. This event here, you can probably notice actually with the snow globe in the top right, this was basically a winter 2024 event. So they had this little countdown thing where they were doing like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and blast off, to New Year's. So they did this all throughout December. And this leaderboard was for Mephisto Diamonds. Some of you might remember this, called 5 Golden Rings. And near the bottom of the leaderboard was about 306,000 players. Okay, so this is kind of like where we're sitting at, where we're starting at, basically from the end of last year. And then going forward, we have this one, which is In Love and War. This was something that I just picked up from February when Liberty was released. Kind of noticed the love theme here. And we were at about 277,000. Now, at this point, leaderboard events were typically running for 7 days still at this point, and before they started experimenting and fucking around with the dates and like having 3 day events and like 2 week events and all this kind of stuff. When we had the Fiery Incarnate, this was for Omega Red Phoenix Force. This, I think, maybe it was 7 days, maybe it was a little bit more. I was shocked to see actually that the player base jumped back up to 300,000, which was kind of where we were hovering with the 5 golden rings or so. But right after this, I do in the timeline, right? We had the Overpower blog. And this came out on April the 2nd, and this was very poorly received. I'm sure for those of you who have been around, we know that this was not received very well. And to this day, I don't think Overpower is still very well received. That being said, it went ahead. It just hasn't been updated to tier 12 yet. We had tier 11, and that's where it's kind of sitting at right now. Okay, so the next thing is I'm jumping ahead quite a bit, but Superior ISO Evolution. Now, this was, I don't know, maybe like this was the first. Was it not the first Purple 4 leaderboard? And this was pretty close to the bottom. Like, it was hard to score less than this, honestly, because of the way that the point systems worked. And this basically was 201,000 2 hours before the event closed, right? Maybe there was a little bit more below me, maybe a couple, maybe 1,000 more, but this was a really bad showing of player population numbers at this time. Not good, right? This was, I don't know, maybe early October. I can't remember when Purple 4 just came out, when the first leaderboard was, but I think it was around then. And then I wanted to kind of jump to now, right, for King of the Zone. Now, there is one comment that I want to make with regards to King of the Zone, is that this was a 10 or 11 day event, right? It was more than 7 days. And so why is the number up to 238,000? Obviously, this is not perfect science, but there is a lot of fluff players. I've talked about this before. There's a lot of Marvel Strike Force players that basically just play for a day and then they leave it, right? A lot of the marketing strategy by Scopely is to hire influencers to do kind of these Twitch live streams and stuff like that, the sponsored streams, and where they just get people to download and just for like a day or whatever, so they pick it up temporarily and drop it. So a lot of the player base numbers that you see, like basically 150,000 and beyond on the leaderboard, are just these people who are just kind of like touching it for a day or whatever, or the hyper casuals. The actual player base numbers have been declining for some time. And I would say that this is probably a little bit more normal, is because when you get these kind of 2 week or 10 days plus events, you get more numbers because there's more of these fluff accounts that are being added to the leaderboard. But I would say the 7 day events are actually more accurate when it comes to gauging the actual numbers. So we're kind of hovering around that, I don't know, let's just say 205,000, but it's not great, right? Obviously, compared to Mephisto's, which was in December of last year, it is basically 100,000 player dip. Some people may disagree with the way that I do my assessments on leaderboards, but I mean, it just tells a story, right? Like you can't deny that we are going down, right? 300K, 277K, fine, that jumps back up. But I mean, if you, I have like them all. Like, if you really wanted to see me to chain together like 20 leaderboard photos, like it is a trajectory downwards. And so now we're basically sitting at this point with diamonds 4 and 5, and I don't see this as necessarily being a positive thing. That being said, I've kind of become a bit I don't care that much. I know it's sad to say this, but what's apathetic. I've become kind of apathetic to this kind of stuff, and that's not necessarily good either. It's just that I know that nothing. I'm basically talking into the void, but I know that some people are going to watch this, but I don't expect Scopely to make any changes based on what I'm saying. So I guess this is just to get off my chest, and because I want to share this with you guys and my thoughts, and just I really am concerned with 2026's Marvel Strike Force and where we're going to be headed there, because if we've dropped 100,000 players roughly, which is about a third of the population in 1 year, I can't imagine how much more are going to drop, by this time in 2026, right? What kind of game is it going to be? I feel like in that 1 year, we've increasingly become a bit of a shopping simulator here in Marvel Strike Force, and that really does concern me. The amount of actual real gameplay that actually matters is very slim in this game. You can probably hear it in the voices of some of the other content creators as well. As you guys know, because I put earlier on in this video that I am sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, but I also play it a lot as well. I play Raid Shadow Legends a lot more than I do play Marvel Strike Force, and MSF has actually become a side game for me, and I'm kind of sad that it's become that way, because I just don't have the same fun in it as I used to. And I know a lot of people are going to say in the comments that I should just quit. But, there's a reason that I do these things, is because I just don't want it to become that way. Other creators, especially in the Envoy program, also have sponsored Raid Shadow Legends channels, and it's not just because of the money there as well, because the game is, in my opinion, right now, anyways, better than MSF. I strongly believe that, and but it didn't always used to be that way. I think it's just that MSF has kind of slid a lot in recent times, and it's become a bit of a different game. But I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are in the comments down below, and if you're a little bit tired of some of the things going on in MSF, feel free to check out in the link down below and get started with Raid Shadow Legends, and you can come join me there as well if you want. We can talk about MSF together. Otherwise, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. We'll see where the game goes from here. That's it for now, everyone, and I'll see you guys all on the next video.
And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.